Hello, Pisces. Hello, Pisces. This is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress from Astrology, A Look Inside, coming to you with your astrological reading. I have to adjust my little thing here. Okay, there we go. Coming to you with your astrological reading for November 2018. And for some reason, it's so dark. I have not been able to get a good light for several days, and I don't know why, but yeah, it just seems so dark in here for some reason. I need to get like a candle and maybe burn a candle or something so that there can be extra light in this vicinity. For some reason, I feel like I need to have a candle burning. Hold on. I'm going to do it. Hold on here. This is imperative. This is a necessary thing that must occur. I don't know why, but this need for the candle, this need is real. I wonder why I've got this urge. Okay, there's a candle right here. I probably shouldn't have done this live. I should have did this beforehand. Okay. All right. Now I got it. Now I've got the candle going. Why I needed this candle, I don't know. Who knows why this had to be, but I felt like I had to have that candle here. And so now we'll go ahead and start with your reading. So again, this is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress of Astrology, Look Inside. I might edit this later and cut that part out, but I'm coming to you Pisces with your reading for November of 2018. And when I look at your chart, because I always do like a little handwritten chart before I do the astrological events. And I will do the astrological events after, but I just wanted to give my own personal take on what I see when I look at the chart for the month. And, the funny thing is when I look at this, I realize that a lot of the emphasis is going to be up at the top of your chart throughout the month of November. And it starts out basically with, the sun is up in the ninth, the solar ninth house anyway. And Venus is up around the eighth, ninth house as well. So, I'm just seeing a lot of emphasis at the top of your chart. Everything's happening above the horizon pretty much. And so that kind of shows me a little bit about what's going on with you Pisces. I mean, everything you guys go through is pretty much going to be very, it's about coming out of yourself. It's doing things outside publicly, not things that you would do privately, but things that you would do publicly. And, the funny thing is with you've had Jupiter in the ninth house for most of the year. It's about to move into your solar 10th house. And that is, in the sign of Sagittarius. And that's going to happen during the month of November. Mercury's already there. That's going to be retrograding in there in Sagittarius. But there is emphasis at the top of your chart, Pisces. There's emphasis in the area of like education and learning and big business and law and philosophy there, because that's the ninth house issues. And then there's issues because of, Jupiter is coming home in the sign of Sagittarius. And that's very lucky. And that's going to be at the top of your chart. And it's really what's blaring out at me more than anything else is that you guys are going to have that experience where your career, your image, your reputation, your, maybe even the way you get along with like authorities and like your boss and those managers and stuff like that. That's all going to be very, very positive. Now, of course, Sag squares Pisces. And so, there could be some stress there, but just know that the area of the career is where the emphasis is going to be a lot. Now, the funny thing is when there's a lot of emphasis in one house, it tends to kind of put the emphasis, for some reason, it highlights the opposite side of your chart. So there might be some issue going on with family or your home, only because, all that emphasis is going to be up the other side on, up at the top of the chart. So just be cautious of that. I would say, it's a good time to really get some activity in the area of your career. If you've been struggling in the area of your career, this is really a decent time to really go at fixing that. And I'm really getting a vibe about that because the North Node is it's teetering right on the cusp of the solar sixth house and solar fifth house for all of you Pisces. And, with North Node being in the sixth house, it probably has been there, you've been having maybe some work issues or health issues, most of last year. But now it's about to go into Cancer, and that's going to be into that solar fifth house for you guys, which is your house of luck. So the North Node is about to move into your lucky house. And of course, that trines, once it gets into Cancer, it's going to be trining some of you late degree Pisces, because it comes in the late degrees of Cancer. It's coming in at like 29 degrees of Cancer in your solar fifth house. And it just means that luck, guys are going to have more luck. I mean, if you're not going to get the luck from the fact that Jupiter's sitting up at the top of your chart, then the luck is going to come from the North Node moving into the solar fifth house. It's just an area that is being emphasized in your life right now. So if you've been someone who's been feeling really down on yourself, or just feeling you're down on your luck and things are not working out the way you want them to, just know that luck is coming. You just got to be aware of it. And now that for some reason, that's the message I need to bring to you this month, to be aware of this unbelievable luck that you guys are going to experience with the North Node in your solar fifth house and Jupiter up in your solar 10th house. So please take advantage of that. Now, Pisces, you've got Pluto and Saturn in the solar 11th house, and that has been going on for a while, and it's going to continue to go on. And it just means there might be some power issues or power plays, or you might even have some issues where you've lost some friends or associates, or things are just different or changing. You might have a situation where you might have power in this area because Pluto is there. But, a lot of times when you have power, or Pluto is in a place, it also rules where there's power issues, like somewhat dominant in power issues. You might be having some type of power play problem with friends or groups or associates or something. Just be careful of doing weird things on like Facebook and stuff like that, social things, because Mars is going from your solar 12th house into your first house. So Mars is going to be going into Pisces during the month of November. And so I can see where that could be an issue too, because you're going to have Jupiter in the early degrees of Sag and Mars in the early degrees of Pisces. And that's going to set up a square, and it could get ugly. And so please be aware of the situation, that it could be kind of weird for you guys. And lastly, I just want to mention that, Uranus is going to be trekking through that solar second house. So since it's retrograding, it could mean that, you have some kind of reversal with your funds. Be careful with your money during the month of November. Okay. And until Uranus goes direct again, gets out of Aries and goes back into Taurus, I would be careful with your money. So this is pretty much my take on your chart for the month of November. Don't know, if that resonates with anybody, what's going on, but just, keep an eye on your career. Good time to pursue your career. Take chances. Make sure you go out and play the lotto with the North Node going in the fifth. Make sure you do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is look over where the aspects are going to be during the month of November. We've missed some, and I do apologize for you, to you Pisces, for coming in late with my readings for the month. I've, gone through a lot myself, and I've got a little bit of Pisces in my first house. So I hope none of you guys have experienced anything like what I went through at the last few weeks. But as of today Uranus retrogrades into Aries. And so, things are going a little backwards right now today. You might feel that things have gone backwards a little bit. This could be affecting everything, just things are regressing. And so maybe it's a time for us to look over issues where they're regressing and just fix those issues. Now, I mentioned a little earlier that Aries is in your solar second house. So this might mean that there's a pullback or something is occurring where you need to review and just kind of take good care of your finances. Review your finances and make sure everything is okay there. Now, the sun in Scorpio is trine Pisces as of today. So it's a pretty creative day, as that's the 6th of November. So I hope you took advantage of that. As of tomorrow tomorrow, I don't know about the right timing here, so I won't go into the time, but tomorrow the new moon is in Scorpio. And so I have been really excited about this new moon because, man, oh man, do I need the new moon right now. And I don't know how many of you are feeling the same way, that it's just time for a reboot, a restart, just to get things going again, because it just feels like we were dragging getting to this new moon. And so this should be a time where you can get back in touch with your emotions again and feel like you can, I guess just really feel like you can think again, because it just seems like for you guys, let me just look at this again. Yeah, that Scorpio is up in that 9th house. So it's, just don't get into any kind of, you might be able to get into some deep conversations about political things or religious things like dogma, with everything going on with the voting in America today. Just don't, be careful about getting into any kind of political things tomorrow, because I can see where that might fall into your 9th house. Maybe you're happy about it, so I guess you will talk about it anyway. Could be joy there. It's a trine. I could see there being some joy with the new moon in Scorpio for you guys. On the 8th, Jupiter enters Sagittarius and optimism returns. I see joy for you guys. Expect optimism and dreams to return. And in your case, it's up in that 10th house. Like I said, you've got a lot of happiness and joy and optimism coming to you in the area of your career and your reputation and your image, and maybe even the way your boss sees you at your job. That's a wonderful experience. On the 9th, Venus is trine Mars, and that Venus is up in your 9th house. And Mars is in your, it's going to be in your first house soon, but it's probably teetering between like your 8th, 9th, and your solar 12th and your first. And I just think it's positive no matter where it falls, because Venus trine Mars means there's some kind of balance or inner balance, and also harmony in relationships. And so, like, if you've been going through some problems with maybe some hidden things going on with your relationship or with you, and it's been affecting you or your partner or your love life, well, now things might be a little bit smoother. You can work things out, and it's just a good time to fix some and get some harmony back into your relationship. On the 15th, Mars is going to enter Pisces. So for sure, as of the 15th, it's not going to be teetering at the 12th. It's going to into that solar first house. And when Mars gets into your first house, the best way to put it is that it's all about you. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel that distinctly, okay? Because I just came out of a situation where I have Aquarius in my first house, and Mars has been going through my first house now for several months. And it's actually set up a situation where me and my husband are no longer together. Independence. independence. So if any of you Pisces have felt like you've been strangled, you're just not feeling independent. You're not feeling yourself. You're not being yourself. This is going to be a time when you can get back into being you, because you're yourself, your physical body. You might find that you start working out. I actually recommend you find some way to get an outlet for that extra energy that Mars is going to bring into that first house, because you're going to have to do something with that, because it's going to build up if you don't release all that Mars energy in Pisces. Now, Mars in Pisces naturally means, it's creative. It'll be action, but it's a creative action. It's compassion, but it's creative and active compassion. So you might find that you yourself are out doing more active and compassionate things than normal. And it'll be interesting how it plays out for you, because Mars is going to be in Pisces for a little while, and it's going to make some trines and things. So it'll be interesting how this is going to work out. It looks good. On the 16th, Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius. Ooh, so that's up in your solar 12. And that's most likely going to be in square to that Mars in Pisces, at least a wide one. Yep, it's coming on the 19th. I just saw it. Okay, so Venus is direct in Scorpio on the 16th as well. So love improves, and it's a good day to work out your relationship problems. You can maybe even think about getting married, although I wouldn't do it with Mercury retrograde up at the top of your chart. That's called I'll have a regret. So no, don't do that. But on the 19th, that Mars is going to square Jupiter, as I said. And, that's coming from your first house to your 10th house. Wherever that square is, it's going to be very visible. And it might be that you yourself, your physical self, might feel that you can do more than you really can. You might overestimate what you can do. And so I just be aware of, overdoing it, trying to do too much, maybe even doing too much at work or your career or your image or any of those things, because Mars, like I said, once it gets in the first house, it creates like this push of energy, because Mars is energy and Mars is action, and it's going to be in your first house. So you're going to be pushing yourself upon your environment in more ways than one. You might be pushing yourself upon your environment in your career, or you'll get an image for being aggressive, which is very not like Pisces. So I hope that it comes out in a very altruistic way, because Sag is very altruistic. They're very cause oriented and dogma oriented, and maybe even philosophical at times. And Pisces can be very compassionate, and I could see you maybe doing things and helping people, because of a cause that you believe in. But whatever you do, don't overestimate what you yourself are capable of doing, because then it could set you up for, a problem later. On the 20th, Sun is trine Chiron, and that's Chiron is in your solar first house. And the Sun is, I think, right? Let me make sure. Right. The Sun is going to be, the Sun is in your solar 9, because it's still in Scorpio, and Chiron is in the late degrees of Pisces in your solar first house. What this tells me is this might just be a good time that you can let go of some old anger, or pain, or hurt, or issues that you've been holding on to for a long time. You can let them go now. Let them go. Free yourself. Free yourself of that. And you'll feel free after that. That's another first house freedom-oriented type of thing, and it's trining Chiron. So it's a great time that you can heal old wounds. Maybe some wound you might have about yourself, or what you look like and how people feel about you or something like that. You can maybe release that now. Release that. On the 22nd, Sun enters Sag. So now we're finally in Sagittarius. The Sun is up officially in your 10th house. Now remember what I just said. The Sun is officially in your 10th house. And that just usually makes people feel like they are invincible, that they can do big things. And you might be feeling that way in your career, or feeling really positive about the way the world sees you, or the way you impress yourself upon the world. But hold on, okay? Hold on. That same day, there's going to be a full moon in Gemini. Okay, that's the opposite. So even though you might have this I can do anything feeling, then here comes the full moon, your emotions down at the bottom of your chart, maybe even telling you that you can't do these things. It could be saying stay home that day and sleep in and play hooky from work instead of going out to your job and being the hero that day with the Sun up in Sag. And so you might have, it might play out in other ways, but just know you're looking at the 10th and 4th house axis overall for you guys, for Pisces. And that just means there is that career versus being comfortable at home, or my career versus my family type of scenario building up here. And it's temporary. I mean, the full moon, it's going to affect maybe 2 weeks of your life at the best. And, that day at the worst, at the best, it's just going to affect that day. The worst, you're going to go through it for 2 weeks. It's the emphasis for this full moon period. And so you're going to be thinking about things because it's Gemini. It'll give you time to think things over. Be thinking about things, processing things, communicating about things, conversating with people. Just be careful that, during this 2-week period of the full moon in Gemini, that you just watch out for arguing for arguing's sake. I mean, between having that Mars in the 1st house, and it's setting up a T-square, you know what I mean? With the full moon in Gemini, the Sun in Sag, and that Mars in the 1st house in Pisces. That's an ugly T-square. And I just don't want you guys to really set up a bad reputation, because, the 10th house is reputation. And Mars is in your 1st house. So you could possibly do something through your persona that could ruin your reputation. These are squares, okay? And oppositions, okay? So be aware of that. And since you're aware of it now, you can act accordingly. Know that, you've got something positive happening in your career. I would put positive emphasis on my career, my reputation, my image, building relationships with the people I work with at in a career level, and avoid arguments, avoid silly arguments. On the 24th, Neptune does go direct in Pisces. That's going to help you guys a great deal. Oh, wow, that's going to help so much, because all the confusion that might have caused the problems that you're having at work, if you did had any miscommunications or anything at work, it could be, or yourself, people are upset at you for something you don't even know about. That could be because you've had Neptune retrograding in your 1st house. It makes it very hard for people to see you. It's very nebulous, and so it's kind of misty, foggy, and so you might have felt that over the last few months. Like, people don't really see me. People don't understand me. I'm talking, they don't hear what I'm saying. And you might have felt that way, but it's going to get better. Now it's going to be a return of love and compassion, and people are going to be more humane. You're going to feel more humane. You're going to feel more like you can be you, and that you're heard and seen and understood better. And that is a good thing. And I'm glad that that's happening for you guys, because Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces. And so when you're ruling planet is going retrograde, it doesn't feel good. And I'm thinking it's going to all start feeling a lot better. Now, on the 25th, the sun is conjunct Jupiter. And, again, even though that's Sag, it is still in your solar 10th house. That's still very, very positive for your career, for your image, for your reputation. And so, in fact, that day is said to be one of the luckiest days of the year. So even though it's a Sunday, I maybe you'll feel lucky because you'll have a spiritual experience that day. Maybe you'll go to church and get saved that day. Who knows what's going on that day? But it's supposed to be a lucky day, and it is a Sunday, and it is a 7 day. 7 is the natural day of Pisces. It's your day. Okay, I don't know what you're going to do on the 25th of that Sunday, but it's a 7 day. It's your day. It's a lucky day. Take advantage of that day. Do something spiritually uplifting that day. Just do something altruistic and kind that day. That's your day. That's your day. Now, the next day on the 26th, though, Mercury is going to be square Mars. And that means there is going to be some possibility of miscommunication. Some people might not understand you. I got to look again where that Mercury is. And that's Mercury's right up at the top of your chart, right up. So again, more emphasis on your personality squaring your career. What in the world? Or your personality squaring your reputation. What in the world are you doing? I just don't understand what the square is between you and your career. Just know that whatever friction is going on, it's temporary. It's a transit. So whatever happens as far as miscommunications, maybe your boss yells at you, you want to argue with your boss, or you feel like you look bad in the eyes of your superiors, or any of those things, just know it's a transit and you will get over it and it will get better. And it's just one of those days that we have to get through. Now, on the 27th, the sun is conjunct Jupiter again, and the sun is conjunct Mercury. So this is a great day. You're going to have the Mercury, Jupiter, the sun, they're all conjunct. They're in your 10th house of career, your reputation, your image. Everyone hopefully is going to see you as a bright, sunny, happy, lucky person in your career and in your image. And hopefully you're going to be shining. Okay. Even though Mars is in your first house, probably squaring some of these things, as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter because your first house is emphasizing you to be more you, and your 10th house is your career, and it is shining. So, you might have some great ideas, some big ideas. Don't go too big. You don't want to overestimate yourself today, but big things are possible for you and all Pisces on the 27th. And finally, on the 30th of November, Venus is opposite Uranus. Venus is opposite Uranus. Now, Venus is sitting up in your 9th house, and Uranus is sitting in your I guess Venus is still in your 8th house. That's right. It's still in right. I want to make sure I got this right. What am I looking at here? Okay, that's it. So we're looking at the second, almost teetering on the 9th and the 8th, teetering in the 2nd and 3rd, 9th and the 8th, 2nd and 3rd, because wow. You know what? I want to say that you might be having some issues with money that day, because with Uranus in the 2nd house and it's opposite Venus, just don't go out buying stuff, going crazy with your money. Just be careful with your money. Don't get in arguments about your money either. Especially like your partner. partner and your money. Maybe it's their money. That could be part of the problem. Don't spend your partner's money up that day. They're going to yell at you. Like, don't get what is it? Gotta hit him up. Luke Cantrell, when she goes out, get in an argument with her man, like, I'm going to hit him up with his credit card. Don't do that day. It'll end up bad, and y'all get into a bad fight. So be careful that day. Anyway, I'm going to end. And, I'm not sure if anything I'm saying applies to anyone at all this month. I'm just getting my readings out and trying to go as much into my spirit as I can during this time, because I'm going through my own emotional issues at this time, and so I'm working through that and hopefully getting the words to the right people that need to hear the words I need to hear. Okay, there we go. I'll be working on December soon. It'll be better for December. I promise that. Okay, you guys. I love you, Pisces. I love you. Much love and light to you all. And thanks for hanging in there while I struggle through your reading for the month of November of 2018. Much love and light to you. Mwah.